These improvisations can go on all day long if you want. Improvise, take a break. Tape yourself. Listen back to the recording. And I should say record yourself. It's not on tape anymore. It's hard disk yourself. Disk yourself. So record yourself and play back so that you can hear yourself. That's when you do your constructive criticizing and observations. When you're in the middle of your performance, you shouldn't be observing or criticizing yourself, because if you are observing or criticizing yourself while you play, then you're not focused on what you're playing. So there should be no judgment in the moment of performing, just flow. That doesn't mean no intellect. Intellect is involved together with the intuition, but no judgment. Once you've done a few of these, you could do more if you want. Put the machine on pause and go do some more. For now, though, I'm going to move on to some more, let's say, calisthenic aspects of playing the trombone. But I'm talking specifically now about the trombone. Most of these concepts certainly apply for the other brass instruments, trumpet and tuba, baritone horn, whatever. Some of them apply to the saxophone and even to the other instruments. Primarily, we're talking about trombone now. After performing, shall we say, 20 minutes, a half an hour of warm-up etudes, could be longer, 45 minutes, even an hour works. It's great when it just flows and your whole day becomes improvising. It's nice when that happens. You lose yourself in the improvisations. Sometimes it's necessary to do some more calisthenic work and to start to train. Again, we're training the muscles to all work in collaboration with each other and in sync, and training the breath. And we need to train sometimes articulations and range building, intonation, these sort of things. My suggestion is, after playing these etudes, to first play some athletic stretches and just to stretch out the embouchure muscles. Athletic stretches. Start on middle E flat, go down 2 octaves into the trigger register. No trigger though. And if you do have a trigger on your horn, don't use it for this particular exercise. So we're playing the trigger notes as, you could say, false notes, but we're artificially making the trigger notes on a non-trigger horn. Again, posture, and the breath. Big breath. We go as low as we possibly can. It's down, major arpeggios, down in half steps. Breathe when necessary. Sometimes I feel it necessary to stretch out here, just with the jaw. Stretch these muscles a little bit. If they're tense, here too, tense, and then relax them. little gurgly down there. So stretching down, there's a lot of different possible athletic stretching kind of exercises. I'll demonstrate a couple. So this one I just demonstrated the whole way down to double pedal B flat if you can make it, or even further, especially if you're a bass trombone player. Really, it's really relaxing to these muscles here. This is a good thing to do in the middle of a long day. Do some athletic stretches just to stretch out a little bit in between different sessions, rehearsals or whatever. At the end of a long day, athletic stretches to stretch out. At the beginning of the day, after a long day. You don't need to warm up, you need to warm down. Stretch out before the next day. So if you're really playing a lot the whole day or late into the night and you have to get up early the next morning and play, then you need to warm down, stretch out. All right. After the warm down, I like to work on the overtone series. And here we're combining range building with natural articulations, the natural articulations of the horn without using the tongue, in other words, going up and down in each position through the overtone series. At this point, we can also do a little focusing on airstream and noticing what the airstream is doing. As we go up the overtone series, the airstream is coming up over the tongue. The higher we go, the more the tongue comes up. The tongue comes up from a O position at the very lowest to a A, and then A, and then E as we go up from low to high. The air is coming over the tongue through the aperture of the embouchure and then going down, bouncing off the bottom of the mouthpiece the higher we go. Now the exception to that are players that are upstream players, and then the stream is going up. Normally the upper lip is a little bit more out than the lower lip. The lower lip is sort of clicking in slightly with each partial moving up to help guide the airstream to go down or go up if you're an upstream player. So here we can combine the overtone series with flexibility and range building. You want to do this particular exercise with a metronome so that you can really work on controlling the articulations and controlling the time of the articulations. Here is quarter note equals 100. Of course, if you're just beginning to work on something like this, you should work on it as slow as possible, as slow as you can play it. Or let's just say as fast as you can play it. Play it comfortably. That's where you start. So start nice and slow so that you're really in control of the articulations. Remember that as we go higher, there's less air, less volume air moving faster. Less volume, higher velocity. Less air moving faster. That's as we go higher. So as we go into the upper register, the middle and the upper register, we can play softer and softer and softer. And this way train ourselves, train our muscles in our body to go into the upper register in a very relaxed way. If we need to crescendo going into the upper register, we can do that. But if we work, and that's not hard. Once you can play relaxed in the upper register, it's easy to crescendo into a more dynamic upper register if the music calls for it. I'm just going to show some exercises. I'll improvise a little bit using the overtone series and staying in one position and then moving to all the other positions. At the beginning, I'll start something very simple, something that you can imitate if you would like to work on this. Start in the middle register, go down first and then up if you are a beginner or intermediate player and haven't done this work, or if you're continually putting on the gas and pushing into the upper register. So that's a habit of pushing into the upper register, and if you can't play in the upper register in a relaxed, soft way, then this is a way to develop that. Now see if you can make this simple exercise actually sound musical. Through all the positions. Then once that becomes comfortable, okay, something like that. Now, once that's comfortable, then we can start to expand the situation. First, we can expand it range-wise. So on through all the positions, and then so on, and then maybe start to build the range up. Of course, when you go to the higher register, maybe you start slower again until you can just work it into something like working on articulations and range building. There's many different exercises you've heard. I'm sure you've used some, and you've heard other guys use them. Developing flexibility through the natural articulations. Just to demonstrate just a couple different ones so you're not always doing the same thing. But the main thing is to be able to go from the bottom to the top of the horn through the overtone series and have control over all the registers. Just from the bottom to the top and everything in between. But this takes time to work. All the different octaves, especially the upper register, takes time. You have to work on it. You have to work on it every day. Not too much because it takes its toll. And I would work on the upper register early in the practice day to demonstrate a few other overtone series kind of exercises. Okay, now only go as high as you can. I've worked on that register over the years. Don't try to play higher than you actually can without forcing it, that you can stay relaxed. Another variation. Another one. These are dangerous. They can be very addicting. And I've seen many a trombone player get totally strung out on these exercises. When I say strung out, I mean seriously. Can't do anything else. You show up before a gig or a rehearsal, and these guys are playing this flexibility stuff, and really fast and very, very impressive. But the problem is, you sit down in the section and they don't have a clue because they're so busy doing these exercises that they lost track of music. So be careful about these exercises. Keep them all in context. We begin the day with music, then some calisthenics, some exercises, and some training, and then back to music.